Yo, what up, street talk, street gods, street vloggity vlog, talk, but talks. Okay, some turbo thoughts for us. So, this one is Beyond. So, I'm trying to think. I'm like, I don't think I actually like the objects themselves, but rather, I like the marketing materials behind things. I mean, I think one of my Archimedes levers or my strengths is I think I'm like really good at marketing. And I'm like, I have a passion for it too, which is very useful in today's superficial capitalistic world. I think marketing, in some ways, you know, marketing is God and this new pseudo religion which we call capitalism. And yeah, I think ultimately marketing wins. So some thoughts on Beyond. So anyways, I'm like still thinking like in terms of the marketing materials and then the collaborations that Lamborghini is doing, you know, there's Sterata, and the marketing language behind Lamborghini, etc. It still seems that like Lamborghini is the GOAT because they're intelligent enough to know how to leverage aspirational things, and then they even leveraging this notion of Coco Beyond. And I think it's a very interesting idea because the notion beyond could be predicated on lots of other notions, like, you know, think about my best friend Friedrich Nietzsche. Also, the funny thing is, if you want to actually be inspired more entrepreneurially, rather than reading books on entrepreneurship, just read philosophy books. I mean, I think even Elon Musk used to read Nietzsche and stuff like that. I mean, it seems that all gutsy entrepreneurs I know, even like Nassim Taleb likes Nietzsche. Everyone likes Nietzsche. Yeah, it's pretty. I think is a good one. Even Kanye maybe reads Nietzsche. Anyways, you know, his stronger song is like that don't kill me, only makes me stronger. Right? That Nietzsche quote, right? From the Military School of Life: that which does not kill me only makes me stronger. And yeah, and I think the notion of beyond is kind of an interesting notion because, like, you know, for example, like weightlifting, I was at the, so funny. It's so the thing that I find extremely funny is actually, you know, going to the Gold's Gym Fitness in Venice Beach, which is supposed to be like, you know, the mecca of bodybuilding. I mean, I think Gold's Gym was bought up by this super mega conglomerate somewhere in Germany now, I think, because they filed bankruptcy during COVID. So essentially the legacy of Gold's Gym, it's kind of like a little bit of a sham because the OG location, which was like a hole in the wall, was like actually on Venice Beach, I think. And then what happened later was they essentially changed it up into a new facility, and the real strongmen or the bodybuilders didn't work out there. They worked out somewhere else. But anyways, so I did the 8 plate Atlas lift, and everyone at the gym was like, so like, I feel like there's like 40 people just watching me, like jaws dropping. They're just like dumbfounded. They never seen the, and actually, and it was actually funny because I wanted to do 8 plates and a 5 on each side, but I maxed out the bar. This is the pro tip: is the best plates to use are actually the thin black plates, because if you use the Olympic plates, they're a little thicker, so you actually max out the bar quicker. So I had to use the combination of the, you know, kind of the rubber plates and also the thin plates, and then essentially I ran a space on each side. But anyway, I was like, yeah, 8 plates. I'll just see how long I can hold it. I just got under it and did it pretty easy, and everyone's so shocked. Like, oh, you know, spin easy. And then I'm starting to think too, it's like, you know, why is it that we tend to just think basic? Why not think beyond? In some ways, to think beyond is kind of look at the traditional way people do things, etc., and to know that in order to go beyond, right, innovating new thoughts, innovating new techniques, and to not be happy with standard. Even like standard notions of physique, I think, are actually quite funny. Is you know, everyone want to have like kind of the steroidy look, Incredible Hulk look, but I'm like, huh, that's actually kind of funny, because for a long time, I mean, yeah, male masculinity and aesthetics changes, right? Like, even for a long time, what is it? You know, it's kind of the Brad Pitt aesthetic from Fight Club, right? Super shredded. And then now it's kind of more of like the, you want to look like an orc, right? Like from World of Warcraft. But then orcs are ugly. No one wants to look like an orc, right? It's like better to be the paladin than the orc, right? Anyway, so thinking beyond is think beyond capitalism, think beyond consumerism, think beyond traditional notions of physique. I like the idea that we could innovate anything and everything. I mean, what does innovation really mean? Innovation is to, I mean, I think in Latin, innovative, it's like kind of to breathe new life into old things. And I mean, my general definition of innovation is to just have the courage or the chutzpah or the balls or the audacity or the recklessness or the ruthlessness to attempt a new certain technique and approach that others might find socially aberrant. So actually, hindsight's 20/20, right? Sociology was probably the best major that I actually studied in college, because sociology is all about analyzing and thinking critically about society, and thinking that why like all these things are so BS, and how to overturn the BS social breaching experiments via Terry Anderson, my old UCLA professor. And once you could kind of go beyond this notion of just like being afraid to be, you know, make yourself look like a fool or whatever, like even 90% of the success of vlogging or, you know, starting blog, becoming a personality, it's just like having the audacity or the, you know, the ridiculousness to just walk around public with a GoPro facing towards you and talking nonsense to yourself. Even when I used to like vlog with my Panasonic G9 Rode video mic, you know, pointing at yourself, like it's the ultimate status symbol that like people will just like honk at me or just something. So hey, you bro, you're doing a vlog. So, and it does seem like nowadays kids, their new aspirations, they want to become YouTubers or vloggers or whatever. A vlog is just simply a video log of your life, your activities, etc. And to think beyond is, I kind of like that, because, you know, this is the notion of beyond, is that here we are, right? We're here. You want to go beyond that. You want to go, here he is, then we all go beyond that, beyond, right? Infinity and beyond, right? Like Buzz Lightyear goals, right? It's actually pretty good. Like, and I mean, I think my personal philosophy in the real law of things is like beyond basic, beyond tradition, beyond whatever's. It's like even cars, like think beyond cars. Think feet. You know, weightlifting, stuff like that. And also like, you know, my brother-in-law Gabe asked me the other day, is like, you know, what are your dreams or hopes or aspirations for Seneca? And actually for me, my personal hopes, ambitions, and goals was, I just want him to become a great entrepreneur. And the thing that's interesting about entrepreneurship is it is kind of a metaphor, right? Entrepreneurship is a metaphor, is that to be an entrepreneur means to be a risk taker, a risk maker, a future creator. And even the genius of Elon Musk, right, is that like, it's not that like, it's so funny, people are like, oh, but he's so rich, he has so much money. I'm like, you don't get it. Like, the reason why Elon is so great is because he had like this insane crazy vision, right? And so becoming a quote-unquote visionary, what does it mean to be a visionary? I I mean, in some ways, everyone's a visionary, right? Everyone has a certain vision for things, but it also kind of requires one to be like a little bit crazy or insane, or can you like imagine, right? He's like, I'm gonna create a rocket ship that goes up and then re-lands itself, and then people's like, you're fucking crazy, bro. But then like, if it's not impossible by the laws of physics, and it actually really does interest you, I think one should also attempt it. And I think the difficult thing is a lot of people, what they try to do is they actually try to superimpose to you what they think is what you should do, right? And it's kind of a funny thing. There's like, you should do this. How dare you not be me, right? As a Barbara Kruger, right? Be different. No, not like that. so yeah, I think it's a very important thing to think and consider. So becoming more socially aberrant, to think outside the box, beyond the box, right, is very, very critical, and to kind of just like challenge everything. I mean, I think one of the biggest benefits of studying history, philosophy, societies, etc., you kind of realize that everything is like plastic and malleable. It's not like there are no ultimatums or ultimate rules for anything, right? Even like, you know, religions and stuff like that. Like, just go on Wikipedia, search a religion, and look at all these icons that they have for all these different types of cars, whatever. Not cars, I'm distracted by something. So look at all the icons for all these different religions and everything, right? And then you'll just be so shocked and amazed to see how much dynamic range there is between all these different options in terms of religions. And you just kind of realize that like belief systems, blah blah, we're always different, have been different, and are kind of in this continuum, in this change of kind of changing and stuff, right? And you know, life goals, right? Life goals is like, for me, EK, right? EK. I want to become like so big, so mega, so kind of beyond there, just kind of just right? And also, like, I think a lot of it too is I mean, shout out to my Asian American brothers and sisters, whatever's, is that it's so funny because actually you know, talking about racial politics, blah blah, right? Ain't nobody in America got self-confidence, right? Like, African American people is kind of getting, you know, shitted on by traditional America. You know, even if you use Caucasoid, use Caucasian, right? Like, don't use the word white. Essentially, when you call somebody white, what you're saying is that your family has lived here enough generations, maybe, let's say 3 or 4 generations, that you've, you know, the remnants of your past culture have been obliterated. So, you know, a lot of people who are quote white, right? Like Italians, Eastern Europeans, Polish people, essentially when they first came to America, they were seen as the quote Mexicans of the place, right? Like, I think even back in the day in like the East Coast in New York or whatever's, right? If you're Italian, they wouldn't rent you because it's like Italian, you guys are like, you know, they would see them as kind of like dogs or whatever, right? Same thing with Asian people, East Asians, whatever. Because actually it's interesting, you look at Silicon Valley now, right? Like South Asian people, like if you're Indian, you know, if you're Nepal, blah blah, you've gotten Stanford, you got successful, blah blah blahs. Essentially, like the new like Silicon Valley elite, like if you're Indian or South Asian, whatever, you're just technically quote white too, right? Even a bit funny thing too, when I was at Brown University with Cindy, met some kid, and then like superficially, right, like looks African American, but I'm like, dude, this kid like grew up in like you know, kind of like the New York suburbs, you know, a nice Ivy League, and essentially like Coco talked like a white person, right? I'm like, bro, like I was like superficially, you look African American, you look what some people call Coco black, but he's a white boy, right? And I think the reason why people get so confused about me, especially when I'm in the gym, hyperlifting, right? They never seen a self-confident Asian American guy, Korean American. That also doesn't look like he's on roids, right? It's like walking around topless and vlogging and talking nonsense, whatever, right? And but anyways, so even Caucasian guys get kind of shitted on for being, you know, skinny and weak and whatever is too. So honestly, like racial politics, everyone just has a bone pick. I would say ignore it all. Even when people's, you know, in America you think somebody Mexican is like poor. You go to Mexico City, right? My friend Todd calls it the Whitexicans, right? Essentially the OG Spaniards. They done colonized Mexico City. They're the ones driving around the Lamborghinis. They are like all like, you know, 6'5" and pale complexion, whatever. And yes, it's all societal, because actually in the past, if you had a darker skin and complexion, that means you're in the fields all day. It means you're poor, right? And then the rich people's indoors all day, and they have a paler complexion. But actually, I would say nowadays, the newer sign of wealth is actually to have a full body tan, right? Like, if you can afford a full body tan, that means you're rich enough to walk around topless and you don't have a real job. Like, if anything, you look at people when they have a really pale complexion, you could tell that they're some sort of office drone or office slave or some tech slave, because they're just indoors all day. I'm like, that's the ultimate disprivilege. Oh, so the new sign of richness, wealthness, I've actually found it's kind of like, has a lot to do with height. Typically, you know, rich people, other rich people marry rich, tall, white peoples. They tend to just, you know, intermarry other people who are like tall and beautiful. So typically, I found that the sign for wealth is, you know, not where you wear, just whatever. It's just how tall you are and how beautiful one is. Seems to be the new marker of success. And yeah, anyways, it's kind of funny too, because nowadays you look around and what you're trying to find out is, how do you know if someone is really rich versus fake rich, right? The thought is, if somebody drives an expensive car, they're actually fake rich, they're not real rich. Why is that? Because if you was really rich, you don't buy expensive shit, right? It's funny because it's like everyone wants to become a millionaire or a billionaire, whatever, right? But they don't actually want to become a millionaire. What they really want is they want to go out and spend $1 billion, right? But let's say that I mean, let's just use a simple analogy, right? Let's say you want to become a millionaire, right? So let's say you work your ass off, and then boom, you have $1 million in your bank account, your savings account, right? You see the 1, right? And then you're like, wow, I worked so hard, I'm gonna go out and buy, I don't know, used Bugatti, right? Go to, I don't know, a dealership or a private party, and then you wire them $1 million, and then boom, your bank account goes to 0, right? So the real rich person would just, this is actually a funny thing based on experience. Do you know what really rich people drive? They either drive like nondescript trucks. Even my friend Don Dillon, who I consider very successful, his like favorite car, he's had all the nice cars, 911, GT3. He's like, I love my truck. It's like a random pickup truck. And also the other dudes I've seen, like even at Gold's Gym Fitness in Venice, you know, you could tell a lot of guys like, I don't know, maybe ex-Hollywood associate producers, whatever, just like pulling out in their trucks, right? So it looks like really successful guys just drive trucks and low-key. Even my friend Armando, who runs Pacific Tire Motorsports in not Huntington Beach, is one of the Redondo Beach. Yeah, that's where not Will Smith, Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen, yeah, lives there, drives a blacked out AMG, a G-Wagon. Dude's super successful, has his own body shop. He just drives an old pickup truck on an old F-150 or something. And also other guys I found at Core Power who are super duper rich looking, right? They just pull up in like an old beat up like Civic, you know, old silver Civic, clear paint peeling. Even my brother-in-law's family, right? Like super duper rich, whatever, right? They all just like drive like Ford Fusions, and even the dad, he went all in Tesla, just bought like a base model 3, right? Even for myself, right? The reason that I became so rich is essentially just not wasting money. I mean, even the last car I got was my mom's old 2009 Hyundai Sonata, right? Just got for free essentially, and only spent like $2,000 to fix it up at the shop. Registered it, and bada bing, bada boom. I essentially had a brand new car for like $2,000, right? And the thing that I love about it is I have like zero paranoia about the car. The problem is if you have an expensive car too, you live in more paranoia. Isn't the point of being rich and wealthy to have less concerns, less worries, right? So let's say I had the new Urus or Aventador or whatever, and then you know you go to the gym or Gold's Gym, whatever, and you park it. And then if you're anxious or worried that somebody finna like jack your car or key your car, key a dick into it or whatever, you's in a fragile position, which is not good because you're concerned and worried, right? But I got this like my mom's beat up old Hyundai Sonata, super low key, no tint. That's also the thing. Real rich people don't use tints. No tint, just all my shit in the back seat. You know, Seneca's car seat, whatever. And then someone wanted to break in my car and jack shit. I'm like, who cares? Like, you know, car's already beat up. Even the big benefit, you know what real rich people use as their phone? They just use like a beat up iPhone SE, right? Look, I got it all fucking scratched up and shit, right? Real rich people use iPhone SEs. Poor people use iPhone Pros. Yeah, this is my thought. And yeah, if you're really rich, right? You don't walk around with a watch. Elon Musk don't wear a watch. It's like, I got my phone, right? Like, you walk around with a Richard Mille, or you got a Rolex, or you got a, I don't know, what those other watches. No, you ain't rich. It's like, you gotta look at time to manage your life. You ain't rich, right? The only real way to be rich is to wake up in the morning without the agency of an alarm clock. Or, you know, like Nassim Taleb says in The Bed of Procrustes, is can you take a nap without can you take a nap in the middle of the day if you wanted to? That's a sign of real rich. Like even Elon, right? Like, I mean, I don't know his lifestyle, but I can guarantee you that in the middle of the day he can't just leisurely stroll to, you know, the local gym, you know, get his pump in, you know, shoot the shit, and then take a nap at the house. No, he's probably got like meetings on meetings on meetings. I think it's a good idea to have the same aspiration as Elon Musk, but you don't actually want to become Elon Musk. You don't want to be him. Yeah, but anyways, moving forward in life, the thing is, in terms of thoughts, desires, ambitions, goals, think beyond.